So I'm here at Chillingstone School since our service engineer raised concerns regarding the service work that he did here, which he found some of these pumps were levered off and found a plethora of other issues. Since then we've been called back because the heating has turned off. I've come in today and I have traced the issue to this unit in here, but just to look at when I've taken this cover off, I haven't pulled all these cables out. This is just, it's spilt its guts out. It's just full of just a bird's nest of cables. So obviously trying to unravel this is and then it just goes on, and there's just boxes with just unlabeled cables stuffed in there, going off to various things. There are even valves that they're not even wired into anything. So it's very easy at first glance to have a look at the pipe layout and think that everything here has been done quite well, but actually the opposite is true. It's been done very, very poorly. The pipe setup on this thermal store, why they've chosen to use these two top tappings, I don't know, because you're only going to get the heat transfer because of stratification with hot water rising. You're only going to get heat transfer in the top half of the buffer there, and this controller unit here, which is designed for controlling the hybrid system, it's not needed, it's not required, because it can all be done on this Samsung unit, but the Samsung unit is an error because of the way that they've run the pipe work for the heat pump. Essentially they're running heat through the heat pump from the boilers, which will cause an error with the heat pump, but at the moment it's keeping the heat pump alive because there is no antifreeze in this system. So with the heat pump living outside, if it didn't have at least some heat from the boilers running through it, it would have probably frozen by now, which would split the unit. There is also a low loss header and a buffer, which is unnecessary. The issues just go on and on. I mean, I can compile a report. There's lots of exposed pipe work. We have circulating pumps that we don't necessarily need. They didn't need to be of this size, and so that they'll be pushing the water through faster than it needs to go, which will create turbulence and noise in the system. It generally needs a bit of a strip back, paring back to about this point here, and removing the components that don't need to be here, setting up the components that do need to be here, and changing the tappings on this buffer. A whole discussion needs to be had really on the subject, because we don't want to have to dose the entire school with antifreeze, which so with a heat pump you either have to put antifreeze valves on, or you have to dose the system up with glycol, or you can separate the system by way of the heat exchanger. So further discussion needed on that, but as I say, if I'm just looking around, there's other areas, there are pipe works that people have just written question marks on. I try and zoom in on this. So other installers have been here and put question marks on pipe work. There is pipe work I noticed round here that's just been cut and left. We've got just open ends, bits of pipe work looping back on itself, and it's just strewn with bits of old lagging that haven't been fitted, and bits of pipe work missing lagging, and it's just a complete and utter mess. So for a service and repair contractor to come in here is an uphill battle, because nothing's laid out as it should be. If you're trying to test wiring, you have to take your life in your own hands, really, because I've had to use this tester, and we have to do live testing, and nothing is supported or laid out properly. It's all just shoved into this box just to keep it looking tidy with this lid over the top. And then, as I say, they've put in components that are overly complicated that don't need to be there. This unit has lots of sensors on it, and it's trying to do some clever things, but this is a relatively simple system. It's just been overly complicated. You can see again here, control cables and sensors, and pipe thermostats. So the system is getting thrown lots of different mixed signals from this controller, which is not helping matters. But as I say, this relay is what's caused the boilers to stop firing. So I'm going to link that relay out today. I'm going to make a note of the fact that I've linked it out on this box. I'm going to scribble that on there, and then I think we need to make a plan for 25 to revisit this and set the system up so that it's actually safe and reliable. So I have linked out the cables on this relay, and now I'm left with no choice, which doesn't please me at all, but to shove everything as I found it just back into this box. So I mean, that's not great. There's mains voltage and low voltage all pushed into this box, and then I'm going to have to do the same with this box here and just shove the lid on. It's quite okay to put a few cables into a box, and these connections, these Wago connections, are very reliable, but this is very bad practice to do this, especially on what is essentially a commercial system. Down here by the cylinder there are more boxes, again stuffed with numerous cables, a bird's nest. We noted when we came and did our service that the temperature pressure relief valve and the combination valve could do with being replaced. We always advise that these, this black thing here is called a tundish. We advise that they're upgraded to a third-party one that's more likely to catch the water if the valves ever trigger. And I think there's lots of ribbons from the installers, I guess. I mean, this one here says sit pump on the floor. It isn't here. In one direction and then existing in another direction. It just has all the hallmarks, sorry, of a company that have got out of their depth and then just try to throw everything at it to make it work. And the net result is just a very bad end product. There's some very bizarre work that's gone on here, but it's totally salvageable. It just needs some time and money, unfortunately. So I'll put the covers back on these. I'm going to go and check that the boilers are running okay. We're going to leave this heat pump at error. Because the heat pump's not working anyway, so So I'm just wrapping this up with some stills there of some of the wiring centre and unwired zone valves and bits and bobs that I've come across at Chillingstone School. And just as I wrap this up, here's a video of a hybrid system we've fitted, so you can see how things should be laid out and neat and structured. So when we're going in to service something, we can see exactly what's going where, and everything is detailed, labelled. All of these valves have tags on them to tell us what's what. That's how this system should have been left at the school. I'm sure the funds were paid for a professional finish, and unfortunately it's been left with a finish that the equipment will never work properly, and you'll never achieve full efficiency or reliability out of it. We can draw up a proper report, but as I said, there would be a cost for that. You could use that in litigation against the installers if you wanted, but we, as service engineers on this installation, we are fighting a bit of an uphill battle. Hope this has been useful. Thank you very much for your time.